and support while encouraging hope and faith. Today, we're going to talk about recovery. And the definition that I wanted to use, start out with a definition from the SAMHSA.gov website. And the definition is a process of change throughout which individuals improve their health and wellness, have a self directed life, and strive to reach their full potential. Particular today, we're going to talk about a faith based recovery mindset. We're going to talk about a faith based recovery mindset. We know, I think those of you who follow us by now know that based on the research, we know that both religion and spirituality and faith all can play a positive role or do play a positive role in an individual's mental health or overall health. When we talk about a faith based recovery, we are talking about a recovery that's based on faith, that's based on spirituality. But when you look at recovery in itself, whether recovery from substance, recovery from mental illness, severe and persistent mental illness, recovery from any life circumstance, one of the things that everyone has, even if they don't even realize that, is faith. Faith is the ability to keep going. Faith and hope. You have the hope to believe that things will get better, that things will change, and faith to believe that using that hope and say, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep moving. Faith that things are going to work out. It's not just that I'm hoping things are going to work out, which we need hope, but I'm taking that hope, I'm taking it from hope to faith to now where I believe that things will work out. I believe that things will work out. So I am putting things in place to ensure that they do. Whether it's going back to school, whether it's eating right, whether it's reaching out, connecting with individuals, whatever I need to do, I'm putting that in action. Faith without works is dead. I think we talked about that before. So again, when we talk about recovery, first of all, let me say something here. When we talk about recovery from a severe and persistent illness or a negative life situation, you think of recovery from in the concept or like recovery from, you broke your knee and your knee heals and now you're recovered. When we're talking about persistent severe illnesses, mental illnesses, negative life situations, many times it's not that dramatic. It's not like that. When we talk about recovery, we're talking about getting to a place in your life where you're able to make a life, where you have come to the point where you accept, okay, I accept the fact that I'm living in this wheelchair. I accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to do certain things. It doesn't mean that you're giving up or you saying, oh, wow, this is the end of the world for me. No, on the contrary, what you're saying is that I've come to the point where I realize that this is where I am in life. This is the hand that I've been dealt, and I'm going to make the best of it. I'm not going to beat myself up for mistakes that I made. I'm not going to get into a pity party. I'm at the point in my life where I accept this is where I am. And based on where I am, then I have to ask myself, what's my next move? What's the next strategy? Now, when we to get to acceptance, a lot of times you go through a lot of different feelings. You go through feelings of guilt. You go through feelings of you do have a pity party. You go through being upset, angry. All of those feelings are normal. Those are normal reactions to a circumstance that you didn't plan for, to a circumstance that just came out of nowhere. You thought that when you and your spouse planned sat down and did your life plan, 5 year, 10-year life plan, that was that your spouse was going to be here for you. You never planned that a day after you and your spouse sat down and worked on the board, your vision board, that your spouse would have a heart attack. You never planned on that. You never planned on when you brought your child home from the hospital, you had so much plans for your child and this was going to happen. You never planned that your child would be hit by a drunk driver. So if life happens, things happen. The question is, where do we go from here? What do we do next, right? So when we come to that point, so again, you have a crisis, and it takes a little while to get to that acceptance. I just want to say that. But once you're at that acceptance point, now you're ready to talk about a recovery mindset. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do what I thought I was going to be able to do. So what's next? So one of the things, a few points I just wanted to make. A faith-based recovery mindset is freeing yourself from the prison of your limitations. So instead of looking at what you can't do, let's begin to look at what you can do. Let's begin to develop a plan, a strategy. And sometimes you may have to ask, okay, God, what is the plan? What is the strategy? What is the next steps? Sometimes you may have to reach out to other people, support groups. You may have to talk to other people and look at how they do things. So again, it's different things. Excuse me here. We kind of got a new setup. We got a new setup, and I need to do something real quick. So again, when we talk about that recovery mindset, we are talking about getting a mindset that says, okay, there is a way out. There's a strategy. There's something that can be done. I just got to figure out what it is. So a faith-based recovery mindset is freeing yourself from the prison of your limitations. Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors go together. If we think that we can't do it, we're going to act and behave like we can't do it. We have to tell ourselves that I can do it. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean that things are going to go my way all the time, but it does mean that there's an opportunity. Each day we live, each time we get up, is an opportunity to fulfill the plan that God has for our lives. Just because your plan, right now may have changed, or your plan looks doesn't look too good, doesn't mean that God doesn't have a plan for your life. It doesn't mean, yes, you never planned on death, you never planned on an illness, you never planned on losing your job. But now that these things have happened, what is the next step? Okay. A person with a faith-based recovery mindset acknowledges the fact that they have an illness or that there is a problem, but they move forward one day or 1 second at a time, refusing to let the problem stop or limit them. See, from a faith based perspective, you have to understand your problem, situation, circumstance, our negative life journey, or whatever came, that we have going on, doesn't limit the purpose, because the purpose and the plan never took our God by surprise. So when he said that you can do it, he already knew that you wouldn't have money, you wouldn't have, your family, you wouldn't be right. He already knew the circumstances going on in your job. So these are things that he already knew when he formed you and breathed life into you. When he already knew. So the fact that, okay, I can't do it because I hear voices. I can't do it because I'm depressed. I can't do it because, I don't have this. All of those things are true. Those are things that are going on in your life, but they don't have to stop you. They may slow you down. You may have to find another option, another way around, but it doesn't have to stop you. The only thing that stops us are our thoughts. When we think that we can't go any further, then we will not go any further. So again, a faith-based recovery mindset acknowledges the fact that they have an illness or that there is a problem, but they move forward one day or 1 second at a time, refusing to let the problems stop or limit them. Okay, I know I have a problem. Okay, that problem equals us. I need a strategy. I have a circumstance. I have a negative life situation, but I want to do this. This negative life situation doesn't have to stop me. It may slow me down, but doesn't have to stop me. So my next thing is, okay, how do I prosper? How do I move forward in the midst of this negative life situation? How do I go on after my spouse suddenly dies, or after my child is suddenly killed, or after an arrest? How do I go move forward? A faith-based recovery mindset is choosing to take responsibility for your treatment and not being afraid to seek help when needed. We are responsible for our treatment, right? We are responsible for, saying this is what I want to do, or making a choice. We have a choice. The decision to say I'm gonna seek help. The decision to say I'm going to ask people to support me. The decision to say, okay, I'm going to do better. I'm going to take the medications. I'm going to, whatever we need to do to get to the point. We have a responsibility for that. It's not another person's responsibility. It's not the doctor's. It's not my husband's, my wife's, my children. It's my responsibility to decide, okay, this is what's going on in my life. These are the negative things. I need to make a change. How do I make a change? What do I need to make things to make a change, right? A faith-based recovery mindset does not just accept the belief that things will always be the way that they are now, or that things will never get better. Things can and will get better once we utilize a plan, once we develop a plan. I always tell people, think about all of the negative things, the things that you're dealing with in life. Write it down on a piece of paper and then ask yourself, what is my plan? What is my strategy? When you first get started, you may realize that there is no plan. There is no strategy. But the more you investigate it, the more you ask other people. Again, there's nothing that you or I are going through that no one else has not gone through. Whether we talk about trauma, complex trauma, PTSD, whatever it is, there is someone else who has gone through the same thing. Many times, what happens is it's a trick of our mind to make us think that we're the only one, that no one understands. There is someone out there who understands. There was someone out there who has gone through, like I said, the thing that you've gone through, and even worse, and they found a way. So the thing is, how are they making it? They're no better than you are. The only difference is they made up in their mind that I'm going to move forward. They made up in their mind to say, I'm going to get help. I'm going to find out what the resources are out there for me. They made up in their mind to say, I'm not going to isolate. I'm not going to withdraw and say that, nobody cares. This people are all bad. No, they made a decision in their mind that they were going to risk it to take it and move forward. So why do you do that? I'm just going to forget it. I don't care. I don't like people. People don't like me. Et cetera, et cetera. The problem with that is that you limit your destiny. You were put here for a purpose, for a wonderful purpose. When we withdraw, we limit that purpose. We stop that purpose. We slow that purpose down, sometimes permanently. But when we keep moving forward, right, little by little, step by step, through our depression. Some days you may not feel like getting up out of the bed, right? And then some days you may feel better to do an hour. Sometimes, you may get up for 2 hours or 3 hours. The thing is, you want to make some progress. You may have to say to yourself, okay, say today, I just can't do it today. Okay, that's fine. The next day, you want to get out, tell yourself, okay, I'm going to get up out of this bed at least 1 hour. Okay, I am going to at least take a shower. We have to begin to push ourselves, right? There is faith without works is dead. A faith-based recovery mindset, like I said, doesn't just accept or believe that things will always be the way that they are, or things that will never get better, that things will not get better because they can't. A person with a faith-based recovery mindset does not wait until they are free of symptoms before they start to live their lives. Instead, they live their lives to the fullest now. Now is the time for you to live your life. Now is the time, not tomorrow. Now is the time, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We cannot let the past trauma, the negative circumstances, the things that are happening in our lives to dim our lights to the fact that we don't move forward, that we don't live the life that God has intended for us, right? Even if, again, for some of us, you may one step at a time, 1 second at a time. No one is saying that it's going to be easy, but we are responsible for our life. We are responsible for getting help. We are responsible for, our happiness, not anyone else. We are responsible for. There are some things that have happened in the past that we can't change. There are some decisions that we made that were the wrong decisions. We can't go back and undo those decisions. We get to the point where we have to go through a grieving process. Well, I grieve the fact, I'm in mourning about the fact, the decision that I made, about where I am in life. But once you grieve that process, little by little, you have to begin to put one step in front of the other. Again, no one's saying it's going to be easy. Some of you are dealing with thoughts of suicide. It feels like these thoughts will never go away. Some of you, because of your depression, you don't want to get up. You don't want to engage. You don't want to take a shower. You feel like life is hopeless, that things are really bad in your life. I get that. Your feelings are valid. But here's the thing, when our feelings, when that's all we have, we don't have how do I want to say, there's no nothing to combat those feelings. When we connect with other people, when we engage outside, with a therapist, a counselor, a spiritual leader, friends, family, when we engage, when we go for a walk, when we go to the gym, when we engage with other people, we have an opportunity to get to have thoughts, to challenge those negative thoughts. The problem is that when we're stuck alone with our negative thoughts, with our sad thoughts, with our depressed thoughts, with our depressed feelings, that's all we know. There's no one to challenge those thoughts. It's easy for me to say, when nobody loves me, no one cares when I'm by myself. And when I'm by myself, I can think of 100 reasons why that thought is correct. Because, this happened and this happened and this happened. But when we're connected with someone else, and I say that, nobody likes me, no one cares, then that other person can say, what do you mean nobody? You don't know everybody. You talked about 10 people. There are 10 people over here that you haven't even reached out to, or you don't even know. You don't know everybody, right? But when we're depressed, when we're sad, when we're thinking about thoughts of suicide or death by suicide, all we can think about is how we're feeling at the moment. But a recovery mindset is saying, no, I'm going to take responsibility for my treatment. I'm not going to stay a prisoner to these negative thoughts. A faith-based recovery mindset is saying, I know all the bad things that have happened to me in life. I know about all the negative things that have happened, all the trauma that I've endured. Okay. I know about the beatings, the cursing, the abuse, all of the things that I've had to go through, right? I owe it to myself to see what's on the other side. I owe it to myself to keep going, right? To see what exactly is going on here, what my life is all about. A person with a faith-based recovery mindset understands that even if they don't get the miracle that they want, God is still in control and that he is in control of their steps no matter how things look or feel. Many of you praying, you're fasting, you believe in God for a certain thing. You believe in God for a healing. You believe in God for a miracle. And God does perform miracles, but his miracle, the way he does it, may not be the way that you expect, right? Many times we're asking God for something. God, if you don't do it, it won't get done. I won't make it, etc., etc. But when we're so focused on asking God for the miracle, we don't realize what's happening now. You saying that you're not going to make it, but you're making it now. You're saying that, okay, God, if this miracle doesn't happen, I'm going to go under, right? But day by day, you're making it. If we're not careful, we can be so focused on praying about what we want to happen that we don't see what's happening now. We don't see the grace that God is giving us now. We don't see the grace that comes through the doctors, through the nurses, through the medications. We don't see the grace that's coming through the lawyers, through the legal system, because we want things to go the way we want it now. We don't see, because here's the thing, praying, Bible reading, all of those things doesn't mean that we're not going to ever go through anything negative, that negative things are not going to happen to us. Prayer is not so much for God, prayer is for us because it changes us. It conforms us. It allows us to conform to his will, to his way. It prepares us for what could happen or what may happen, right? So, but again, we get so focused, some people so focused on God, if you don't heal me, I want to get up out of this wheelchair. But you're not looking at the fact that you have a wheelchair. You're not looking at the fact that even though while you're in the wheelchair, there are things that you can do. So again, we don't want to get so focused on that miracle, that thing that we're praying for, that we forget who we're praying to. Because one of the things that goes along with faith and hope is trust. When we get to the point where we trust God, we may not know, but we trust his way. We trust who he is. Our confidence is in him. Our confidence is in the fact that he knows and sees. And confidence in the fact that he loves us. We confidence, well, if he loves me, why do so many negative things happen? Negative things happen because we deal with negative people, right? Negative things happen because the world that we live in, right? But we want to see the grace in the midst of that. What do I mean by grace? Grace are the tools that God has given us to use. Grace is the tools that whether the people, ideas, activities, those are the tools that God has given us. The grace, the ability, the strength. Okay. Yes, God's grace is sufficient. His ability, He's given me the ability to move forward. He's given you the ability to move forward. So in the midst of these negative things, you have to say, okay, God, what exactly should I be doing? What is the plan? What is the strategy? And I emphasize that over and over again because there is a way out for us. There is a way out for you. But if we're so focused on the miracle that we want, well, if we're so focused on how we want things to go, or we're so focused on the negative things that's happening in our lives, we can forget that we're more than that. You are more than your illness. You are more than your depression. You are more than your bills. You are more than the negative things that are happening to you. Right? There's more to you than that. You owe it to yourself to find out what it is. What it is. Okay. Okay. And lastly, a person with a faith-based recovery mindset continues to hope and trust in Jesus Christ no matter what. We're trusting in Him. We're not trusting in our prayers. We're not trusting in our faith. We're not trusting in our, our medications, our doctors, our lawyers. No, we're trusting in Him. And because once we understand that it's Him that we're trusting in, then we can rest in everything else. Okay, God, what is the plan? So a faith-based recovery mindset is freeing yourself from the prison of your limitations. A person with a faith-based recovery mindset acknowledges the fact that they have an illness or that there is a problem, but they move forward one day or second at a time. So we're not pretending like there's no problem, right? I always tell people when you look at the Bible is a book of war. It's not afraid to take into account both the good things and the bad things. The Bible puts it out there. It talks about everything, negative things, it's in the Bible. There's nothing new. Okay, you don't need to be afraid. Well, I'm not going to accept that. I don't believe that. It's okay to accept that. It's okay to believe, okay, this is what the diagnosis is. This is what's going on with me now. It doesn't take away from your faith. What you're saying to God, okay, this is what's going on. And because you need to do that, because when you can identify what the problem is, then the next step is to find out what the strategy is. A faith-based recovery mindset is choosing to take responsibility for your treatment. You have to take some responsibility. After you finish praying, after you finish fasting, for those of you who do that, remember faith without works is dead, meaning you have to put some action to some things. You can't just, yeah, praying is one thing. And that's one of the mistakes that people think, okay, yeah, I'm praying, but I'm also working at the same time too. What do you mean working? I'm asking God, what is the plan? What is the strategy? And I'm working that plan or strategy. A person with a faith-based recovery mindset does not wait until they are free of symptoms. No, you can't wait until you no longer have symptoms, until you no longer have problems. You have to live now. All right. A person with a faith-based mindset understands that even if they don't get the miracle that they want, God is still in control. The miracle, keep praying for the miracle, keep fasting, keep praying, keep believing God. But remember, you're not fasting, praying, believing God, for the thing only. You should be focusing on Him. So again, this is just a quick word, a faith-based recovery mindset. For those in particular who believe in faith, this is just a quick word for you. It's getting better all the time. Mental health outreach, providing information and support while encouraging hope and faith. Log on to our website, igbatt.com. Email us at support@igbattmho.org. God bless you and have a great day.